Falava, this is Pacific Waves from RNZ Pacific. I'm Susana Swiswiki. Coming up.
Hopefully they will not try and use Pacific states as pawns in their strategic maneuvers.
Climate disasters costing Pacific economies. Also, why Fiji isn't signing up to a trade agreement just yet. And
Pacific is like a Creole made up of words from English and other colonial languages.
Aotearoa celebrates Papua New Guinea Language Week. The Secretary-General of the Pacific Islands Forum says climate disasters are costing Pacific economies. Speaking at the opening of the Forum Leaders meeting, Baron Wanga said an estimated 6 to 9% of Pacific GDPs is lost each year to climate disasters. Caleb Fotheringham filed this report from Honiara.
After days at sea, travelling from Fiji, two waka have been given a warrior's welcome in Honiara as they arrived for the Pacific Islands Forum Leaders Summit. The crew carrying a message of ocean protection.
We need to get this right. It's not just our EEZs, it's our high seas as well.
It's a call backed by host Solomon Islands Prime Minister Jeremiah Manele.
We must continue to strive for more actions to keep our region stable, nuclear-free and peaceful. Indeed, the future of our children depends on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's make welcome the biggest province in Solomon Islands, Malaita Province.
The official welcome at the National Stadium, a showcase of cultural diversity, national pride and regional solidarity. Some big agenda items for the week are how the forum engages with its partner countries, New Caledonia's political future and a Pacific-led climate financing mechanism. On the sidelines of the official agenda, Fiji's Prime Minister Sitiveni Rabuka paid a visit to a Second World War cemetery for Fijian soldiers.
What Pacific were they defending? Pacific of peace, an ocean of peace.
Sitiveni Rabuka's Ocean of Peace Declaration is set to be signed this week. Mr. Rabuka says his declaration is about still having meaningful engagement with other nations, but not at the cost of destroying the region's harmony.
Hopefully they will not try and use Pacific states as pawns in their strategic maneuvers into the Pacific.
The declaration has the full support of French Polynesia's president, Moitai Brotherson, who says peace also means not worrying about losing land to rising seas.
When we talk about the ocean of peace, we're not just talking about wars. We're talking about everything that disturbs the peace of mind.
Mr. Brotherson says it's very much in line with the Blue Pacific strategy, the long-term blueprint for how the region plans to address present and future challenges.
New Zealand is courting the Fijian government to join PACER Plus, a free trade and economic partnership agreement, but Fiji is holding out. Fiji's Trade Minister Manoa Kamikamica is in Wellington, meeting with business leaders ahead of meeting his Kiwi counterpart Todd McClay. Kaya Selby has more.
Australia and New Zealand lead the partnership. Current signatories are the Cook Islands, Kiribati, Niue, Samoa, Solomon Islands, Tonga, Tuvalu and Vanuatu. But the absence of two of the Pacific's largest economies, Papua New Guinea and Fiji, has always been a fly in the ointment for Wellington and Canberra. Minister Kamikamica, who is also one of three deputy prime ministers in Fiji's coalition government, says it's not a yes or a no, it's a maybe.
Fiji had in the past decided not to sign up to PACER because of concerns around some of its impact on our local businesses at home. So we what we've done is taken another look. So we're in that process at the moment. So we'll probably know later on in the year what we're going to do.
That's the Pacific Agreement on Closer Economic Relations Plus. It came into force at the end of 2020. It slashed tariffs between Australia, New Zealand and the Pacific Island states. But it presents an interesting dilemma for Fiji, who may have to slash import duties for Aussie and Kiwi goods, making them cheaper and able to outcompete their own domestic produce. It would also pave the way for more access to Fijian labour that could worsen their brain drain. Mr. Kamikamica says it could be devastating for Fijian businesses.
Liberalising, it may have an adverse impact. And these are sort of industries that employ quite a few thousand Fijians. Well, I mean, you could potentially close down some of them if they were not careful.
Fiji's government are making investments to diversify their economy, which is mostly dependent on tourism revenue and remittances from overseas. But they're holding their cards close to their chest. Mr. Kamehameha won't say what kind of special arrangements to accommodate Fiji would be needed. He simply says he needs to be pragmatic.
Well, I mean, we always need assistance in various forms. And so, obviously, when we get closer to, once we have a clear idea of where we land with the agreement, of course, there'll be some conversations around where there can be assistance.
Meanwhile, the government says they plan to double trade with Aotearoa by 2030, with a target of 2 billion Fijian dollars. Mr. Kamehameha is scheduled to meet with New Zealand Trade Minister Todd McClay on Thursday.
A resident of a state housing block in South Auckland says she wants to move somewhere else after assaults and a gang-related shooting in her building. But it's not as easy as just asking to move somewhere safer. After being put on a waiting list, unbeknownst to her, she was taken off it. Amy Williams has the story.
There are a dozen blocks of multi-storey townhouses in Bari Lane in Mangere. Christine Nankivell, who's retired, has lived there for 4 years. She asked to be transferred to another state house after witnessing a shooting last year.
Quite distressing. I've been physically pushed and cracked my head open. I've seen a shooting. There's a shooting here. There's always arguments between couples, but that's their business, it's not mine. I just worry about, and I haven't seen my grandchildren since the shooting.
She says there's gang rivalry and she does not want her young grandchildren visiting.
I don't want my grandkids to see things like that. And it was over colours.
Christine Nankivell is also a cancer patient. She says her GP wrote a letter confirming it was not safe for her to live there.
It's very unsafe for me and my grandchildren to be here because of my condition, because I've got cancer, lung cancer, so it's really hard for me to be here. I just want a free life,
She says she's been ping-ponged between Kāinga Ora, which is the landlord, and the Ministry of Social Development, MSD. Both agencies confirmed Ms Nankivell asked to be transferred to another Kāinga Ora property in August last year, after one of her neighbours was shot, but she's no longer on the waiting list. In a statement, MSD's Regional Commissioner, Jules Lynch, says they invite her to get back in contact.
At any given time, we have many people, often with high needs and complex situations, looking for housing. How quickly they are housed depends both on their need and available social housing that matches that need. We let Christine know we had a range of support available if she wanted to look for suitable private rentals to support her to move more quickly.
Jules Lynch says Ms Nankivell was placed on a waitlist 2 months after she requested a transfer. But this year she asked for a 2-bedroom home, which triggered a completely new application. She was removed from the housing list this year because MSD had not received the documents for that application and could not reach Ms Nankivell to tell her. When Christine Nankivell realised, she asked to be put back on the wait list, but again MSD says they were unable to contact her to progress it. She disputes this, saying she had no missed calls from MSD. And Christine is not alone. Another Bari Lane resident, Salesi Mataitonga, says he asked to be transferred to another state house after he was attacked in his home 2 months ago.
Bruised eyes from this side down to here, and I got a little bit of a lump up here. And then they took the photo, and then the cops came and took the photo. Every time I go walk on the road, I better watch my back just in case they might, pop up, and did something to me,
Salesi Mataitonga says he first approached Kāinga Ora to ask for a transfer, who told him to ask MSD, but both agencies say they have not received his request.
They told me that they'll put me on the list, but I've waited for a long time. I want to move out from here.
Both he and Christine Nankivell want the agencies to step up and help them move. Kāinga Ora says it has increased security at the complex and is talking with the police about having regular patrols through there.
It's Papua New Guinea Pidgin Language Week in Aotearoa, New Zealand. This year's theme is Preserve, Revitalise and Promote Our Language and Culture. Papua New Guinea is home to more than 875 languages, making it the most linguistically diverse country in the Pacific. I spoke to PhD student from the University of Auckland, Deborah Karkas, and began by asking her about the significance of PNG Language Week in Aotearoa.
Yeah, so with those of us, especially, we have moved with children. Our children are growing up in an environment where they are not hearing our local vernacular spoken around them regularly. And so this is very important for them. We're teaching them or reminding them of where their heritage, where they come from, and I love how New Zealand gives allow these times within the year to different countries to do that. It comes with a certain level of appreciation, and for our people, a certain pride that we carry in us as well, that we are given space to and be able to showcase our language, which is very much tied into our culture as well.
PNG is known to have over 800 languages, right? So how has a Pacific country like PNG, how do they manage to develop all these linguistic features as opposed to their Polynesian neighbours who only speak like one or two languages?
Yes, so because of the diverse languages, we have more than 800 different languages. I think it was in the early 1900s where the Tok Pisin was created to allow for different tribes, different people to communicate with each other. So Tok Pisin is like a Creole made up of words from English and other colonial languages, as well as common words that are used across different language groups. And so in the country, at the moment, Tok Pisin is one of our lingua franca with English and Motu. So we have 3 official languages with the sign language now added to it as the 4th official language in PNG. So yes, it is the Tok Pisin that is like a common ground that pulls us all together and allows people from different tribes, different regions to be able to communicate with each other.
PNG is approaching its 50th independence celebrations. What are some of the most significant milestones that the country has achieved in the past 50 years?
I would say a lot of things that have happened. For instance, even though the country is struggling, economically, there are many good things that are actually happening within the country. It's unfortunate that, the bad stories become too loud and drown out the good stories that are happening within the country. One of the things that I've been following are things that are happening within the healthcare space. And I think it was earlier this year and on the eve of our 50th anniversary as well, there was a successful kidney transplant that happened in country. And there are few other, advances in the healthcare space that have happened, which I would say I am very proud of of our homegrown doctors and nurses that have been able to see that happen, as well as that in the education sector. We've seen the number of institutions and universities grow over the last 50 years. I think when the country became independent, we had just 2 universities, and now 50 years on, we have 6 universities with a lot more colleges and institutions that are supporting the education system of the country.
That's Pacific Waves for today. For all episodes, head over to rnz.co.nz/Pacific. We're also on Spotify, Apple and iHeartRadio. From myself and the RNZ Pacific team, tō whā sui fua.